So, you guys, welcome back. It's been 2 years, all right? 2 years since I was able to review my favorite show, House of the Dragon, all right? So, that has been what's going on. So, we are back. It is season 3, episode 1, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood. Yes, this is what we've been waiting on for the last 2 years, right? And yeah, so I hope you guys have been keeping up. The Night in the Seven Kingdoms, I didn't love it. I did watch it all the way through. It had more awkward instances in it than really notable ones for me. I did watch it. I didn't love it. I didn't. So that is basically where I stand with that. Just wanted to put that out into the universe. All of my Game of Thrones, House of Dragon people. I had some people that were asking me about it and I didn't really say anything because I didn't want to speak up against it, but at the same token, I really just didn't want to have the conversation. And that's what it is. So yeah, so we're in season 3, episode numero, we're at the first of it. So I like the fact that they recapped the previous 2 seasons right before the episode started, because I think that was really monumental in building things and kind of reminding you of certain things that happened, how they happened, and it was really just a really great look. Of course, the end of season 1, Rhaenyra lost Luke. Luke got killed because, which dragon? Something with a V. Vhagar. Yes, Vhagar is the biggest dragon out of all the dragons. And Vhagar essentially killed Jake and his dragon. And Rhaenys had the opportunity to kill all of the greens, Team Black. And, Team Green, the greens. She had the opportunity to kill them in season 2 and didn't. And I was really pissed off at her, Rhaenys. I know, R.I.P. Rhaenys. But I felt a way about her not just going ahead and barbecuing the whole family. On her way out, it would have been an easy exit. I would have liked it. It would have been cool. But she did not do that. Rhaenyra, last season, she also sent away her 2 toddler sons with Rhaena. Rhaena was supposed to get Vhagar because that was her mother's dragon. But Aemon stole the dragon. And that's essentially what happened there. And I really feel that really impacted her. She didn't want to be like a permanent babysitter. So she kind of exited the group. So when the kids were being transported to somewhere else, I think she saw the dragon or she saw something and she was like, this is my chance. This is my opportunity to get a dragon. So I'm going to get a dragon. We got the 3 new riders that Rhaenyra did kind of like, I don't know, it was like dragon rider roulette. Like they could have barbecued everyone, but they could smell that Valyrian blood. So we got 3 new dragon riders. One of them is one of Corlys's illegitimate sons. Another one of his sons actually is working with him now. That was quite interesting. Jace was kind of getting on my nerves. I get it, like he's trying to establish himself and he really wants to put himself out there, but I didn't love Jace last season. So I'm just going to put that out into the universe. Of course, at the end of the season, Alicent sneaks and visits Rhaenyra at Dragonstone. And she offers her this deal. And you don't really know if she's being for real or not, if Rhaenyra is really receptive to it or not. But it's out there. It's put out into the universe. Daemon comes to the conclusion that Rhaenyra is the rightful heir to the throne. And he gets a whole group of, I don't know what they are, like the village people or something. I don't know. I don't remember where they're from. But he gets a whole bunch of them set up. Jace goes and gets the elders that are from the clock tower or the north. I think they were from the north. But he basically solidifies that. Aemon also blazes up Aegon. Aegon is damn near dead, y'all. Like, he got cooked, and his dragon was done as well. So this was a very interesting season. It was a very interesting season. So leading up and really getting into the new episode of season 3, episode 1. I was very much impressed, but also just ready for something big to happen. I need bloodshed. They need, like, Rhaenyra, it's been 2 seasons since your son Luke was killed by your half brother. I need for you to get it together, girl. I need you to do that. And I don't care, you just burn King's Landing down to a crisp. Just burn it down to a crisp. Let's just start off from scratch. Let's just make our own way. I see that. Was it Lord Hightower? Yeah, Lord Hightower is Alicent's father. They show him toward the end of the season. You're like, oh my gosh, wow. So when we were opening up into this first scene, and of course they start the music and you're like, oh my gosh, you're looking at everything. And you're seeing the embroidery that they're doing. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous. It tells a story. You see all of the story in there. Stories from the previous seasons, and they sprinkled a little stuff of some newness. If you're paying attention to the details, you can see some of the details in there. You're like, oh wow, that was new. That wasn't on there before. That's really cool. So the first shot, they started off with Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer is that dragon that Rhaena had seen the previous season, and she kind of was low-key following him. Sheepstealer is, honestly, in my opinion, Sheepstealer steals all of episode 1. And I'm just going to put that out there because if you haven't seen it, just know. Sheepstealer is a star. He runs the whole episode because of just attributes that happen. And so in the first shot, you see Rhaena, she's looking at Sheepstealer, and I think he was eating or something. And so she goes to him, and she's like, I don't know, like singing a song or like a lullaby or something. So Sheepstealer like turns around and is like, who the heck are you? And she starts speaking High Valyrian, but Sheepstealer ain't really checking for her because he's busy eating. So then she decides that she's going to try to mount him. Well, again, this is a wild dragon. I don't think we've ever seen a wild dragon in this show. But this is a wild dragon, and Sheepstealer's like, what are you doing trying to touch me? And you're in that moment, you're like, okay, is he going to, Dracarys her? Is he going to fire her up? But she manages to get and mount Sheepstealer. And you're like, okay, she's kind of like wobbly with it. She's getting up there, but you're just like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Sheepstealer's like, look, I am a wild dragon. I am not for this with you. This is not for the long term. So Sheepstealer is he's not making it easy for her at all. Not in the least. And so he goes down and basically tries to just get her off of him, I think. But that is the first shot. The next shot is Aemon. He goes to, I guess, the servant's quarters, and he just assaults the servant and takes him out into like this, I don't know, like the dining area or something. And he's like, kneel, tell me where he is. The servant is completely clueless. The servant don't know what's going on. And he's like, I know you know where my brother is. You got one shot to tell me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't know. He's not in his quarters. He's like, you have one moment. You're a traitor to the crown, blah, blah, blah. I will sentence you to death. And somebody intervenes. Good thing. And they say, hey, Larys and Aegon are gone. So obviously they conspire together. Of course. They pull a shot now to Aegon and Larys. They're in the back of like a chicken truck or something that's bringing poultry and live animals. So like some kind of weird livestock truck. And Larys is kind of used to that kind of lowborn living. Aegon is not doing good because he don't have his pain meds. Because remember, he's still kind of like burnt up and still like a whole bunch of internal issues and stuff going on. So that, and then being in with the chickens and the animals and stuff, he's just completely insufferable. Like, he's not at all in a good place. Suddenly, the van stops. It stops, and Larys is like, look, you need to hide yourself to some extent. They open it, and they call them out. And so Aegon and Laird, they come out, and they're like, who are you? What is your thing? We're going to freaking murder you. What's the deal? And Laird just kind of floats over and is like, yeah, I'm the servant, and this is one of the people that said, that we're here. And the guard says, you have to denounce the usurper, which is essentially Aegon has to denounce himself. And you have to declare your allegiance to Rhaenyra, Queen Rhaenyra, who is the rightful heir. And so Laird immediately does it and kneels. Aegon is really struggling to kneel because, again, he essentially is the usurper. And Laird is like, yeah, please don't kill us. My friend here, he's just having a bad day. And he tells him to kneel. He doesn't. And so the guard punches the crap out of him. And he kind of falls. He falls down. Well, it is exactly what it is. And then out of nowhere, Laird outs Aegon to the guards. And Aegon's like, why the heck are you doing this? This is not what this is not what I signed up for. And Aegon is trying to deny it. And Laird's like, no. And instead of killing us, instead of, murking us, you could just take us as an offering to Queen Rhaenyra. And that will mean more to her than anything. Now, also keep in mind, Laird and Aegon know if Rhaenyra gets her paws on him, Aegon got to die. He has to, because there's no way that they can have him there, still around, talking crazy and all this. He has to be murked in order for her to claim the crown. That's just how it works in that day. Don't ask me why. It just is what it is. Then we get the first shot of Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is talking with Jace, and she's telling him about the whole deal with Alicent. And she's got this excitement with her. And she's like, this is perfect. And, this is going to work out. And I'm like, Rhaenyra, really? Are we really that clueless? I know that Alicent is true, but you don't know that for sure. You don't know. How you know that she's not trying to set you up? And that's exactly what Jace is saying to his mother. And so she doesn't listen to him. She doesn't hear him. She goes and gathers the board members or whoever and tells them about this plan. And Jace is telling her, look, this is a mistake. This is not going to end well. And so she's telling all of the people and whatever in the council. And they're, again, shocked, like Jace is shocked. Like, are you really going to take this girl at face value? And she's like, she's got all this plan and how this is going to work and la-di-da-di-da. Child, Rhaenyra, I need you to go chop up some people, please. I need you to dracade some people, please. And the only option they have in it, or the only thing that Alicent really wanted, was to make sure that she and Helaena are spared. Come in, kill off Aegon, chop off his head, take the throne, and spare Alicent and Helaena. She didn't say nothing about Aemon. Because Aemon kind of, if y'all don't know, Aemon is definitely the crash out kid of the family. He is absolutely the crash out kid. So our next shot, we get Alicent. She's walking back to King's Landing. And she's going back into the castle. And they're like, the king wants to see you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, whatever. So she goes in there. And they're like, no, in the throne room. And then, so her face is like, why in the throne room? Whatever. So she walks in and she sees Aemon sitting on the throne. Because, again, Aegon done escaped with Laird. They don't know where he is. Alicent is clueless, like, okay, what the heck are you doing sitting on the throne? And he then tells her, yeah, Aegon is gone. And he went with Laird. Alicent's like, okay, well, what do you mean? And she's like, that's impossible. He's bedridden. And that's when Aemon jumps in with, where have you been, mother? Where have you been? So now he's suspicious of her. He's suspicious of everybody. Aemon, he is the crash out kid. He just needs a small little smidgen of a reason to crash out. And so Alicent just tells him, I was in the King's Wood, I was just, getting my thoughts together, be it as I'm not useful here of late. And so that kind of struck a nerve with Amos. So you can kind of tell that, okay, yeah, I screwed over my mom a couple of times. Yeah, this is true. And then she's like, well, why aren't you at Harrenhal? He was like, I don't want to just sit up here and have the throne just wide open. So I'm finna run this. And it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting how this thing goes. So in this moment, Alicent is kind of like a little scared because, again, this is not a part of the plan. This is not what she told Rhaenyra. And she's trying to figure out how the heck am I going to get out of this? How am I going to do it? How? To what degree is this going to happen? Our next shot is on the sea, Corlys' ship. We're seeing all the men gathering, and he's overlooking everything because, he is the sea snake and all. So he's overlooking everything, and you're getting really awesome wide shots. And then you get another shot of land, and you're seeing these men being slaughtered. You're seeing fires everywhere. So everyone knows that Daemon Targaryen cannot be too far. Daemon is the king of any kind of chaos. Any kind of chaos around, you can guarantee Daemon is not too far off. And that's what we're seeing. You're seeing all of this destruction, killings, fires, wildness, blood everywhere. It's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy scene. But this is so Daemon. This is his place. This is what he does. This is what he's about. And then suddenly, Caraxes and everybody sees a group that is huge, giant number population of men literally coming from the woods. And Daemon is like, okay, what is happening? What's going on? And you just see all these men coming out in armor. And as you look closely at them, you can tell that these are a lot of older men that have pledged their alliance to Queen Rhaenyra. And these guys come out and they said that they're going to fight for their queen. They're going to fight to the death. So they were kind of planning to die in this war. And then everybody's cool. So I thought that was a cool. But these are the group of guys that Jace had gone and made connection with. And these are the older, they call them, I think, the Whitebeards, because they're older gentlemen. And these are those guys. So that's adding to their numbers. And it's a good look. You're going to need more people. And his exact words are, we have come to die for the Dragon Queen. I love that. And then we get another shot of the ground where I forgot what his name is, but it's Alicent's brother, Hightower's son. He's walking through and he sees one of the soldiers essentially sexually assaulting a woman. And the woman's running off and he knows what happened, blah, blah, blah. So he's taking that and looking at that. And then he decides that he is going to make a trip over to see. And so we now know that Sir Criston Cole is now hand to the king under Aemond. Not Aegon, because, Aegon is all messed up, right? So he can't rule. So Aemond has kind of temporarily stepped into that role, but now he's feeling more confident because Aegon is gone. So Alicent's brother goes up to Sir Criston Cole, is like, look, one of the guys is like sexually assaulting a woman, a woman or women in general, we need you to step up and say something because this is inappropriate. As he's saying to Sir Criston Cole, like, look, this cannot be happening. We got to cut this out. And Criston Cole's like, well, go hang him if you feel like it. I don't care. And he's like, I can't make any kind of commands to these guys because they are knights. They're supposed to be knights, not just savages and beasts. Something, yes, it needs to be done, but it needs to come from the Lord Commander, which would be Sir Criston Cole. And Sir Criston Cole looks up at him and he's like, look around us. Look where we're at. All right. We're all going to be beasts in the end of it. So what do you really expect from me stepping up and saying something? Oh, yeah, Alicent's brother, his name is Sir Gawain, or Gwen, something of that nature. I don't know. But he's like, look, we don't have to become beasts. We can still maintain our principles. And he was like, yeah, at what cost though? So the next shot is the 3 new writers. So don't ask me their names. I don't really know. It's Corliss's other illegitimate child. It's Ulf. And then the other guy, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, it's at the top of my dome. I've had a lot of stuff going on this week. Okay. So they're kind of chilling on like a mountain or something. The dragons are at the top and the riders are at the bottom, kind of like chilling. And Ulf is talking about how he was kind of coerced to do some very unsavory things when he was a boy. And I think it was a priest that had actually done it to him. And yeah, that was kind of out of nowhere. And it was definitely a weird thing to talk about. So the 3 of them kind of started talking about how they were connected to the line, of course. And they just were talking about how they don't like hanging out. They're just sitting around and like sitting ducks, but they're supposed to wait on instruction from Rhaenyra as far as how to act, where to go, what to do type of thing. So they're just kind of chilling out, sitting around, not doing much of anything. And yeah. So we get another shot of Rhaena and Sheep Stealer. And he kind of like drops her off of his back. He kind of look at her like, bitch. And she starts singing some weird lullaby. He turns to her and was like, shut up. And she continues singing. And Sheep Stealer was like, I am not even for this foolishness. And she tells him, we are to go to Dragonstone. And he just takes off. He takes off, doesn't give a care. This is why Sheep Stealer steals this whole episode. Because Sheep Stealer is just, I don't give an F mentality is funny as hell to me. It is hilarious. Sheep Stealer is completely unbothered. They show another shot of Alicent talking to Helena now. And she's in the middle of writing a letter to get to the soldiers that are on board, that are already out there. And everybody knows Helena can really see a lot of things. She can see a whole lot. And she's like, you're frightened. And she's like, yeah, I only fear for the knights. Meanwhile, in our mind, we know she's fearing because her plan might not come through. Then we see Corlys having a moment with his son, the one that saved him. And he invites him into like his office on the ship. His name is Alan. Okay, I remember that now. His name is Alan. And he essentially offers Alan a drink. And I was like, look, I'm not supposed to be at, work. He's like, look, I can't take back the parent that I could have been and I should have been to you. But, I could sit here and chill out and have a talk with you, man to man. And I feel like this was a moment that was definitely long overdue. I appreciate Corlys really taking the moment to not necessarily resolve their issues, but at the bare minimum, relate to him and show him and tell him how much he appreciates him. So they kind of just sit out chilling for a minute. And Alan, you could tell, like, he is very much not wanting to really, he's not really wanting to open up to him and embrace him as his father, but he respects him as his leader. And I think that that's really important. I think that's a very, very important part of that. And Corlys shares a little bit more of the plans that Rhaenyra has given word about. And you can kind of see, like, it's a really special moment between the two of them. And Corlys basically tells him, look, I don't know what the future holds, but rough seas lay ahead. I like the fact that he took accountability in that moment. He took real accountability in that moment and was like, I can't mend this issue that happened between us and me not being in your life. But it was my doing. And I really love the fact that he took, because a lot of men don't, and even showing in this time, this is probably unheard of. But I love the fact that he took accountability and said, you know what, it's my fault. It's my fault I wasn't in your life. It was my fault that you had to be hidden, essentially. And he also shared that he really was fond of his mother. And you can see Alan visibly kind of get uncomfortable. And even maybe part of him wants to cry because he's thinking about his mom. I believe that the mom had passed by this point. And he takes a stance of saying, yeah, I did provide for you. And I made sure that you had what you needed throughout life. And then Alan interjects and says, yeah, you provided everything but a name. Alan is snapping. Yes, we're here for it. Corliss pauses and he's like, you're right. I'm sorry for that. I like the fact that he is taking accountability, because last season Corliss was kind of an ass. He was. And maybe him losing Rhaenys and then his grandkids and stuff, kind of like wilding out and doing some stuff. I feel like we're seeing a more compassionate and definitely more aware Corliss this season. And then in the midst of that tense moment, the bell. I can't talk, y'all. The bell rings, and Alan just immediately gets up, hops up, darts out the door. Corliss finishes his drink and heads out as well. So Corliss finds out that it's the Triarchy that is basically out there to start up some trouble with him. He knows, and he knows the damage that he and his peeps have done throughout the years, so he knows that this is not going to be an easy fight. And they go over to the Triarchy, and you're seeing all the chaos kind of unfold, and they're talking about the gullet and everything, and Driftmark, and Lohar, that's the female. She tells him essentially, yeah, I only got you and your people involved because I'm trying to go after the sea snake. He has wreaked havoc on my people for the last 20 years. And that was the whole gist of it. I lied. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Maybe. Yeah, so Lohar, or whatever her name is, she essentially instructs her guys to demolish High Tide, which everyone knows that is Corliss's prized possession castle. This is his favorite place. This is his happy place. And Lannister's like, well, why are we doing this? You know, we're supposed to be headed here and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, do you think Corliss is going to be able to keep his focus knowing that his monument is burning? Smart move. It is. Very, very smart. But how is it going to last? We got to see. So next is my very favorite scene of this entire episode. They show Rhaena. Rhaena's on the ground. She looking like she kind of depressed. She's shaking. Maybe she's cold. She's shivering. She just looks crazy. She look like she about, 2 seconds away from just rocking back and forth in just a corner somewhere. So she's rocking and she's looking crazy. And all of a sudden she hears Sheepstealer come back. So Sheepstealer's back. And she pulls out from under this rock or wherever she was. And again, she looks like hell. She looked like she done been through it, y'all. Sheepstealer comes out and she tries... Well, she doesn't even try yet. So he, regurgitates these 2 sheep, essentially. He's sheep stealer. And he flambés them right there and then. He cooks them to a crisp. 2 big, nice-sized sheep, right? And then out of nowhere, he tosses one of the sheep to her. And I'm like, this is a peace offering. Eat it. He finna eat. So sheep stealer gonna eat. And he's like, look, I'm finna eat mine. It's hot, too. So Rhaena is hungry and stunned in the moment, and she goes over and she eats the heck out of that food. And in that moment, you just feel like, yes, Rhaena got her dragon. He brought her a food offering. I love it. I love it. Now I gotta tell y'all about Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer got this underbite thing going on. Not an overbite. He's got an underbite. So it's like his bottom jaw, it protrudes the top jaw. It looks really weird. Maybe that's because he is a wild dragon. And maybe they really not supposed to be tamed or trained, or maybe they don't need riders, but he looks crazy. And if you think the other dragons look crazy, he looks worse. But the 2 of them just sit up there and they're just eating. You're like, oh my gosh, they're so stinking sweet. So stinking sweet. I love it. So Lord Hightower finally gets the message from Alicent about what they're to do. So Alicent, in her note, she basically said to make camp and await instruction. So don't move, don't go nowhere, don't do nothing. Just wait and we'll see. So we get our first glimpse of Daeron. Daeron is the youngest child of Alicent and Viserys. And you can see him there with his red hair, which is interesting, right? Because I would have thought that he would have had white hair, blonde hair, like everybody else. Next shot is Alicent and Aemon. So they're sitting in one of the rooms, and Alicent is trying to very gingerly get Aemon, get Aemon on her side. Therefore, she can kind of control the situation because, again, he's not supposed to be in King's Landing because if Rhaenyra and her peeps are coming, he's not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be out in Harrenhal. And so she's trying to appeal to his side and say, oh, Aemon, if things were different and you were born first, you would have been a much better king than your brother, blah, blah, blah. But you really need to go to Harrenhal. And so his spidey senses are kind of going off. You can kind of tell he doesn't fully trust her. And then he's probably wondering, why the heck does she want me in Harrenhal so bad? And he basically says, no, I cannot abandon the throne. And she's trying, and she's holding his hand and everything. And he's like, oh, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm a man. I'm a man. And he stands up promptly. And he stands by the fireplace. And Alicent joins him. And she's trying to really reassure him that, of course, he's not afraid. He is the rightful king to be. And everything will work out just prosperously. And so she's being the mother figure in that moment. And she's telling me, yes, you can draw Daemon out and really stake your claim. And it'll be victorious against Rhaenyra. And he's looking at her, but you're not fully understanding. Is he really digesting what she's putting out to him? And she starts to rub his arm. And again, she's trying to get him to go to Harrenhal. Because that's where he's supposed to be. And you get the feel in that moment. He's looking at her. And you're just like, wow, maybe she's actually reaching him. Maybe she's finally getting to the heart of Aemon. And he looks down. And then he looks up. And she's just so lovingly in this moment. And she's giving him encouragement. And telling him how wonderful he can be. And she can't lose him like she lost Aegon. And then out of nowhere, completely nowhere, Aemon goes in and kisses his mother on the lips. And Alicent is completely taken aback. But she's hoping, if that's what he needed to go to Harrenhal, I sure hope that happens at this point. But it's so freaking weird. I think that Aemon never really got that affection from his mother, much less any of the others, really. And she kind of, pushes him off very swiftly and very gingerly and very kind. And he tells her, you know what? I am going to go to Harrenhal. I'm going to do this, and we're going to have a feast in your honor. And heck yeah, about to go do it. So he goes off to Harrenhal. But Alicent is just weirded out. You can tell, she's weirded out. What the F just happened? This isn't happening with me and my children. What the heck? And you can see, a tear coming down her face. So now they've got all these theories. We're back to the 3 new writers. And you're like, look, what if Aemon is expecting us to completely abort Dragonstone? And maybe that's what he wants. Maybe that's a way for him to draw us out. And then you see the other one was look, Rhaenyra gave us an assignment. We need to just stick it out until she says something. And then they see this weird, mountain deer type of guy at the top. I don't know what his story is, but those type of people, existed at that time. I don't know what the whole thing is, but it was it was a man, and they had, antlers coming out of their head. So I don't know, what kind of man that is. But Ulf decides that he's gone, he's leaving, whatever. He's just going to get out. And Alan's like, no, we can't be doing that. And then out of nowhere, freaking Alice Rivers just appears, y'all. She just appears, and you're like, where the heck did she even come from? And so they're skeptical, naturally. And they're like, who are you? And she's like, oh, a witch. And Ulf just takes off. So that is the last that we see of that group. So then we get our homegirl, Bela. She comes through Dragonstone and she's telling Rhaenyra what's going on. The war done started in the gullet. And Jace is reiterating, see, this is a part of their tribe. This is a part of their plan. And Rhaenyra decides she's going to join in this war. And I'm like, girl, that ain't what you to do. Jace chases after her. I was like, look, mother, no, this is not for you. This is not. And she's like, no, I am going to go get ready. I'm going to get armored up. And that is what that is. So Jace takes it upon himself to tell her guard to lock her in and don't let her out, because you have been sworn by the crown to protect her and to do whatever you got to do to keep her safe, because you've taken an oath. And I was like, and the guard that he's talking to is looking like, I did? I took that oath? That's the oath that I took? I got to look at the fine print next time. But he tells him, like, look, no, your duty is to protect your queen. And Jace then takes the hell off. Jace takes off, y'all. He going in her absence. He gonna go to the gullet. Why was he going to the gullet? He is not skilled enough to go to the gullet. Oh, he is not. He is not. He is not. But that's sure what he did. He sure not took his butt. And then talked Bela into going with him. His cousin wife is how she gonna take her dragon too. So the two of them is gonna go to the gullet. Oh boy. In the moment that he talks Bela into going with him, he is just beyond delusional. Beyond delusional. And is just looking for any way to make a name for himself. I think that his biggest struggle has been the legitimacy of his paternity, which everyone knows he doesn't have the white hair. He doesn't have the golden hair because his father was Rhaenyra's side piece from season 1, but that's a whole nother story within itself. Yeah, I forgot what that guy's name was, but he and his father got killed by the brother who was Lair's. It was Lair's brother. Yeah, Lair's is trifling. He is terrible. So, shot goes back to Rhaenyra. She's trying to get out of her quarters, and the Kingsguard will not let her out. Totally locked her in. Tired. She's not going nowhere. And the Sir Lauren, he tells her, no, Jace said that I'm to protect you and to serve, and I cannot let you out. And so she's having like a freak out session. She's yelling at the door. She's saying like, fucking door, which is so crazy because like, did they use fucking that time? I don't know, but it kind of worked. It worked. And then the Asian lady, the one that has all the premonitions and stuff, she's in the quarters with her as well. Because, you know, last season they had a little kissy kiss, so I don't know what's going on next. But then we go back to the gullet. So they go into the gullet, and you're seeing all this destruction. You're seeing all this fire, and everybody's ships are just getting torn up. You're seeing people they're going ahead and they're firing their arrows everywhere. And Lauren is still trying to get at Corlys. He's trying so hard. And she's getting on and slaughtering people on these different ships. She and her people, they're just like taking over and just getting crazy with it. And she's getting closer and closer to Corlys. She's totally getting closer to Corlys. But it's getting there. And they flash back to Rhaenyra. She is in her quarters with the little premonition lady. And she's like, what the heck? Did I ask to be protected? Do I need to be protected? If I were a man, I'd be allowed out there. But because I'm female, oh, I need protection. Did I ask for this protection? No, absolutely not. And it's just so, and she's like, she expected from her council, from all the other people and stuff, but her Queen's Guard and her own son, she felt so deeply betrayed in that moment. She was not okay. Not okay. Not in the least. And she takes some of the not necessarily armor, but some clothing that I guess was being custom made for her, and she just starts to tear it up, y'all. She is tearing it up. She got like some kind of knife or something, and she just is tearing it up, ripping it up, because she's pissed. There's nothing that she can do, and it just sucks, because in this moment, she is powerless. which is the whole thing about it. It's like, okay, men want to protect the women, but they want to be in the action. Well, Rhaenyra is one of the most powerful, and her dragon is powerful. I don't know. It's just like, I've got this weak and feeble body of a woman, but I've got the heart of a king. And I'm like, yes, I feel it. I feel that. So they are slowly closing in. They are surrounding Corlys's ship. And Alan is telling them, like, look, this stuff's about to happen. But they look up, and who's coming through? Jace and Baela. Jace and Baela come through, and they start blazing the opposition. That's what I'm talking about. That's family coming together for family. I love it. So they come through, and they start blazing up the competition. But what they don't know is Lehor and her people, they have all kind of artillery and things to try to injure or hurt a dragon. And sure enough, they have one of those rusty spears, and they shoot it right toward Jace and his dragon, and they absolutely penetrate one of his wings. And I don't know about y'all, but I love the dragons. They're just so beautiful. I just love them. So when they get hurt, it hurts me. A part of me is hurt as well. And they pierce his dragon, and you're just like, damn. And you're seeing Jace and his dragon trying to get away. And they're struggling because this arrow, whatever it is, this weapon is tethered to the ship. And so from the sideline, Baela is seeing, she's peeping what happens, and she and her dragon go in and they rip the thing. So Jace and his dragon are free. At this point, I wanted Jace and his dragon to go home and rest and reset, restore, right? Because you didn't been through a lot. There's a lot going on right there. It's a lot going on right now. Your dragon is injured, okay? He just took a whole arrow through one of his wings. He need to go home. He need to go home, drink some water, eat some antelope, I don't know, and just chill out. But that's not what Jace do. Jace and Baela are still out there just running amok, and it just stressed me out so bad, the whole episode. But I will say, when they go back to Corlys and his ship, it was very interesting, very amazing. I loved seeing him navigate through that narrow canal. I loved seeing that. He really know what he doing out on the water. I was like, yes, Corlys gone through. Yes. And he knew exactly how, like, it was not perfect necessarily, but he navigated that narrow canal very easily. And so up behind him was Lehor and her people. So Lehor decides that she is going to also direct her people to go through the canal as well. It's like, if the sea snake can do it, we can do it too. Then out of nowhere, y'all see Rhaena, she got her dragon. They out for a ride. You're like, okay, they out for a ride. Rhaena is excited, and she's like, we're home. We're home, Sheepstealer. And Sheepstealer is like, okay, whatever that means, whatever. But she also says, go, Sheepstealer. So telling Sheepstealer, oh, okay. So he actually saw it. That's what I did. I was wondering what happened. So he actually saw the fire, so that's what she knew where to go. So that makes a lot more sense, because I didn't know that at first. I was actually posting a lot about that. Didn't know that. So Lehor actually leads them through, and they just barely are able to get through that little narrow canal. So they do it. But in the midst of them doing that, they are absolutely tailing Corlys and his people, which a lot of people okay with that. And Lehor and her people are like really picking up speed to really catch up with Corlys, which we're like, okay, this is getting pretty serious. So they actually catch up to the ship. Well, before that, Corlys sees his castle, his mansion, where he's made memories. That is absolutely his golden everything. Now he realizes Lehor is serious, and she and her people did that. So now he pissed, as he should be. Your house burned to a crisp because your enemy decided to do it. I'd be mad as well. I would not be okay. I would absolutely not be okay with that. And Corlys, he's taking it in, and he's pissed. And so they're holding the course, and they absolutely they intersect into Corliss's ship. And so in that, they go ahead and they, I don't know what you call it. I guess they just, like, they boarded the ship, I guess, or whatever. Like, they absolutely took their boat and strike Corliss, like, his ship in the middle. So it's like they're splitting the ship in half, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like that before. But that was a very interesting way of doing it. And so they find their way onto Corliss's people's boat, and she's looking for the sea snake. That's what she wants. That's who she wants. So they're getting on to that ship, and they're slaughtering all of Corliss's people. Then they're showing Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer is headed to the battle. He's like, yes, I'm in it. Put me in, coach. Tag me in. And she's saying, Dragonstone. You know, that's the command to fire stuff, right? And she's like, Dragonstone. Yeah, Dragonstone. But keep in mind, this is a wild dragon, okay? This is a very wild dragon. And from my recollection, anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time that we've seen a wild dragon on this series. Because a wild dragon and a dragon that's had a rider, two different types of dragons, okay? Two different types. This dragon, we don't know if they've ever had a rider. And on top of that, all the other dragons have had previous riders, so they kind of, it's like a domesticated cat and a wild cat, feral cat. It's, you know, it's going to do whatever the heck it please. So she's Jakasing and telling Sheepstealer to Jakar. So Sheepstealer know what Sheepstealer want to do. Okay, cool. Absolutely. And honestly, I don't really know if he's really following her orders or he's just doing whatever the hell he feels. Because it feels like Sheepstealer really is unbothered. Completely unbothered. And so they're trying to hit Sheepstealer, in which some of them do. They hit Sheepstealer in the face, and Sheepstealer is like, you know, whatever. And so as Sheepstealer is really super low, Raina is telling him, you know, let's go up, up, you know, let's move up. And Sheepstealer's like, I ain't done yet. These motherfuckers, they sitting up here in my face. I'm not done. I'm not finished. I'm going to do what the hell I'm doing. Because not only is he putting his life in danger, but he's also putting Raina in danger. And Raina's like, you know, obey. How you going to tell this wild dragon to obey? He's going to do whatever the hell he please, because that's what he's been doing. And it's just crazy. It's insane, because he's not going up. He's not listening to her at all. And you're just like, what? And then all of a sudden, you're just seeing, like, him just blaze up everybody. It's like, okay, this is a game. And she's trying to tell him, you know, they're not the enemy. They're not enemy. Why are you doing this, Sheepstealer? You have no real relationship with Sheepstealer. You just started riding him. He don't know you the same way you don't know him. So Corlys wakes up. He was on the ground. He must have been hit somewhere. Because, you know, Lahore is next. She's on his neck. She got to be in the next corner or the next second, because Corlys is like, what the heck? He's seen his men slaughtered. He's seen all the destruction. He's seen all the violence. And he gets up, and people are getting slaughtered and just tossed off the boat. Because, again, remember, Corlys's boat is basically in two separate pieces now. So it's getting crazy. And it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Alan, he falls off, and one of the opposition is coming, trying to get at him, and he's trying to catch his breath. Bela is looking up like, who is this other dragon? Like, what the heck is that? And so they're keeping tabs on that. They're keeping track of that. So Alan come in, he killed the guy that was trying to kill him. He finally get his breath. He take off his helmet, which I don't recommend, because I'm like, Alan, you probably need that helmet on, baby. You probably need the helmet still, but I get it's probably heavy. So he's taking off some of his armor. Sheepstealer is still blazing up everybody. And she's like, no, Sheepstealer, no, stop, calm down. Sheepstealer say, what the hell is you talking about? I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. And Sheepstealer is just blazing everybody. This is the idea. And then he sees, is it Jace? He sees Bela. And he's about to, like, fire fucking Bela. Bela is not the problem. Bela is not the problem. What are you doing? And he starts chasing Bela. And it's like, no, that's not. And so it just gets crazy. Because at another point, Sheepstealer sees Jace. Tries to go after Jace. Tries to jar Kara's Jace. And you're just like, no. And Raina the whole time, she's hitting on. Sheepstealer's like, no, that's my sister. No, that's brother-in-law. No, don't do that. And Sheep Stealer's doing whatever the hell Sheep Stealer want to do. That's it. And so Corliss and Lehar, they finally get to throwing some blows, and she gets to stab him once, and they going at it, and at one point or another, Corliss's ship just like it splits in half, and unfortunately he's pulled by the momentum of it, and so Alan is like looking, he's like, Father, Father, and so he look at Lehar because he know that's the bitch that cost my daddy his life. I'm finna fight this hoe. So he get to tumbling with Lehar, and they end up in the water, and they just throwing it. And then they go back, and Jace is there as well. Like I said, Jay should have took Vermax and then went home, right? Just take him, go home. And so Jace is about to actually attack Sheep Stealer until he realizes that Reyna is on Sheep Stealer. And so Sheep Stealer is just like, he is just cutting up, and he is not friendly. He's not the friendly dragon at all. He's burning up everything and everybody. And that's really probably the main reason why what happens next. And so, again, Jace should have took his ass home. Now the dragon Vermax gets shot again, but now it's like in his body, which is probably worse. So he is struggling. And I'm just crying out to the TV because I'm like, no, Vermax, no. And Reyna is like, Jace, no, I'm sorry. It's too freaking late now. It's too damn late. You sit up there with the wild dragon. So Sheep Stealer gone. He figured, I think that's enough destruction for one day. Bela sees that Vermax and Jace, they're struggling, and then they go back to Alan. Alan is tussling and busting this lady Lehar, just laying her out, right? And then he finally finds a way of drowning her, essentially. He drowns her, and you can see like a sense of relief that he has, because it's like, he did this to avenge his father. And that was the end of that. So Alan is out there, and he's looking at all the destruction. He's looking at Corliss's ship that's in 2 separate pieces. Bela, she heads on home too, but she knows that Jace is gone. And we knew that this was coming. I didn't know it was going to happen this soon, but yeah, Jace go bye-bye. And that was the end of the episode, darling. Yes. That was a good first episode. I expected more. I want more fury from Rhaenyra. I need her to be really, I'm finna be that bitch. They done killed 2 of my children. I got 2 more that's floating around somewhere, but they done killed 2 of my kids. 2 of my boys from the man that I love. Oh my goodness. So I was just so hyped and so excited about this first episode. I thought it was really good. Overall, I feel like they covered a lot of bases, and they crossed a lot of T's, a lot of I's, and I'm super excited for the rest of the season. I want to hear from you guys. What did you love? What did you not love? What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? And yeah, you guys let me know. And I'm going to try to do a live recording, so that I haven't done it in a couple of years, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, all right? I'll let y'all later. Deuces.